Good afternoon, everybody. So, if you follow my Instagram, I've been encouraged to share my life a little bit more, and I'm doing that via the old Instagram stories. So, if you want to just see what I do, and unfortunately I can't just live without any meaning or purpose behind what I'm doing, so even though I'll go on and try to be normal and train and go to work and do normal things, you're still going to get some kind of deep, profound philosophical ideas that I come up with. So if that's interest to you, my Instagram is I'm student at life. I am student of life, no space, and you can see that over there. But what I put where I've been this weekend, my brother had his Bucks weekend, and I was the best man. So there's a lot of organising, which I'm happy that I had 4 other dudes to help me, but on the day it was a little bit stressful having to deal with 30 drunk males. Anyway, for some reason, every time I meet random people, things always seem to go very deep quickly, and it's not, I guess it's me instigating it all, because to be honest, I can't deal with just pointless conversation. I actually don't do it. So if you meet me randomly, I'm happy to say, hey, how's it going, g'day, whatever. But it's soon going to quickly turn into some deep, meaningful questions. So I met awesome people at the Bucks who I didn't know, and just random girls that you just run into at the pub, right? Now, not that type of random girls where you're trying to pick up, but just friendly chit chat, people doing their thing, and obviously I was there doing mine. But you randomly meet people, right? And you know, it's just reinforced that this whole topic of self-development, you know, psychological development, spiritual connection, however you want to market it, however you want to phrase it, it needs to be talked about more often. And just to meet, you know, random girls, and for them to open up within half an hour about their childhood or about their, you know, traumatic upbringing, you know, it seems to be quite prevalent. You know, like every new random person that I met over this weekend had some psychological issue, right? Not in a bad way, just there was something on inside that has been bugging them for a while, right? So I thought, I promised them all that I'm going to make videos for each of them, and I'll do that during the week. But today I'm tired, I'm trying to recharge. That's why I'm out in nature, trying to get some sun. But I still need to get some stuff off my chest about the issues. So I'm just going to give a little summary into each topic, a brief summary, because they all require a longer one. So the first one, I'll start with the most traumatic and work my way down, because it'll be easier for me to do as well. Now, we didn't get too specific because I didn't just have a whole hour on a couch to talk to someone. There was just, you know, distractions and what. But what I got was quite an abusive childhood upbringing. That's you know, she's now developed into what I feel is making a lot of progress, considering, not knowing the full details, but assuming that the things were in, it's quite traumatic for her. She's studying, she's trying to get better, right? She's doing everything she can, and she found Chinese meditation practice. She's fallen in love with it. She meditates. She's like really committed to it, right? That's awesome, I said. That's really good. But the problem is that stuff can distract you from the real issue. And the real issue is that it's similar to positive psychology, because you can get into such a blissful state. If you put your mind to meditating like the Buddha did, you can live in bliss, right? You can live in peace for that 20, 30, 60 minutes, whatever you do. But hours after, days after, definitely weeks after, that wanes, right? That feeling of peace that you got from that practice goes. So then whatever you were trying to escape from, get into that place, comes back. And it always does, because trauma, stress, emotional baggage always comes back if you don't deal with it. Okay, so if you meditate, doing some kind of spiritual practice that works for you, it's not always the best way to go about things. If you have to really go back, I know it's hard, but you have to go back and relive the traumatic child abuse or whatever it is that happened. And there has to be that peace and bliss that you have from meditating has to go into that abuse as you remember it in your memories as a child. Now, that's easier said than done, because when you remember abuse as a child, there's going to be a lot of fear. There's going to be a lot of turbulent emotions that come with that. So it's a process, right? When you first meditate, mind's going crazy, you don't get that bliss. But after a month, you do. So the same with this, you have to try and bring peace to this situation and comfort and safety. And then the situation will resolve itself. That's just how it is. Now, might take months, might take weeks. That doesn't matter how long it takes, but all your effort should be going into resolving that issue with peace and love. And then I told you as well in our conversation, the ultimate thing you have to do, the hardest thing that you have to do, is forgive the person that actually did the wronging to you. And not just like, okay, I'll forgive him, no worries. No, it's being empathetic, understanding why would a human go out of their way to abuse as such a little innocent girl, right? Start to understand how could that be possible, and not judging them, saying, oh, he's a lunatic, he's crazy, da-da-da-da-da. Just try and see, okay, there's a good chance that he was abused. There's a good chance that he has severe, turbulent emotions on an hourly basis he's trying to control. And you can only control that for so long, right? So eventually one breaks, and that's where they lash out. Now, that's not excusing the action, not at all, but it's a step in the empathy process that you have to take. And once you can truly understand that the person that's abused, really it's not their fault because of the circumstances that they've been through, and then you can bring peace and love to the actual situation when you're a child, and really feel compassionate towards the whole thing, and then turn that traumatic experience into a strength, into a source of proudness, of pride, of being able to withstand the darkness of the human, and dissolve it, move through it, and not just forget about it, but bring love to it. There's a strength in that process, right? You're not just forgetting and forgetting. You're forgiving, understanding, never forgetting, bringing love to that, so that when you remember it, there's just love there. There's no more fear. There's no more fright. Just love. And the second thing you should do is try and break free from your addictions. And you said you started doing that. Just put that into turbo and really try and just be as clean as you can. No alcohol, no smoking, no too much crazy drinking, having a good time. You can do it every once in a while, but and you said to me that that's not the life for you. So just break away from that, and then all this extra time you're going to have, you can put into this stuff. Now, the second lady I met had a situation where she was at a very early age having to take large responsibilities for herself and the family, and as a young girl, obviously totally incapable of handling such a situation, causes one to grow up quickly but at a self-sacrificing level, so that her life now, it's like she becomes a martyr for the family. She's like the trooper for the family. She takes on all the stress. She tries to make sure everything's alright. But the problem is, as the years go on, and she said that it's pretty much still happening to this day, she's 30. If she's had to look after the family from when she was a very young child, right, and all the way up until 30, you start to forget about who's the most important person in this world. It's all good to look after others, absolutely, but you have more potential to look after other people when you've completely looked after yourself. That's logical. Once you've got your energy reserves as high as they have, once you've got your stress level low as you can have so much more energy and enthusiasm about doing the duties that you have to do for your family. So you can't self-sabotage yourself with your health, with your own kind of personal needs as a human. You can't forget about that, so that you can serve, your family, your parents, because they need you. That's cool. Okay, I understand that. But there has to be a priority. They can't just automatically go to the top. And you said you started to figure that out. So that's awesome. But now you can't just figure things out. You have to now make it a priority. You have to do that in your life, right? You put your exercise first. You put your nutrition first. You put your downtime first. Then you go to work, which you have to do. That's fine. And then you find space for whoever needs you at the time. Your parents, your sisters, whatever. But if you keep going the way things have been going, you put them first, you're going to feel frustrated because the situation never changes over the years. And one's obviously going to get frustrated with that. But more importantly, you sacrificing yourself for another 20 years, you're going to be 50, and things are going to be much worse. It's progressive, right? So be vulnerable. You've had to take care of the family from being a young girl. You've had to become sort of too masculine, right? Sorry about the plane. You've had to become too masculine. That's a grown adult's job to take care of a family. So when you're a child doing that, you've put up these walls. That's what these psychological walls are, right? And when I first met you, you were very defensive, and we kind of butted heads because I was being too honest with you. But after half an hour, your walls broke down. You didn't see me as a threat anymore, and we'll kind of talk in the same lingo. And then you're able to open up more. So that allows you to be happier. That allows you to feel better. Keeping this stuff trapped in and worrying about others and never dealing with what's inside of you, unfortunately, you're not going to like this, but keeping things in over time, unfortunately causes, so that's just stress, and emotional stress over time causes disease, cancer, organs shutting down. You know, it's not nice, but yeah, okay, you're 30 and you're doing very well, but get this thing now, finish it, complete it, master yourself in every way, take care of your health, take care of your quiet time, take care of connecting with who you really are without these walls of trying to be, you know, tough and that you're, you know, a strong woman. Okay, we know that, but get rid of that. It doesn't serve you all the time to be like that. Connect, let your guard down, find out who that true innocent little girl is. That's what you need to do. Connect with that innocence of you. Then you combine that yin with that strong woman that you've become, that yang, and then you find the middle, right? And you stay there. You stay in that middle ground, and that's where you'll find your peace, your fulfillment. You'll start your beauty studio. Everything you want to do will happen once you get to the middle of connecting your innocence with that strength that you've developed. Now, her friend had a conversation with me about how she's too tough on herself. She's very like hard on why she's not achieving what she should be achieving. She doesn't want to not waste time because she feels like she's wasting time. And then when she's doing something productive, then she goes, well, it's not good enough. You're 30, you haven't done anything with your life. You haven't got kids, you don't have a boyfriend. So she's having this internal conversation with herself, just beating herself down, whether she's doing something productive or not. There's still an internal conversation of, you're not good enough, you're not doing enough, right? And that's fair enough, because in the positive way, that's good, because that means that you're trying to get better. Being hard on yourself is good when you're trying to get better, but in your instance, what you're creating, because you said when you beat yourself up, you then don't do anything, you don't take any action, you don't stick to anything, because then you beat yourself up so much that you don't feel like you're good enough to do it. So you're creating this negative loop pattern of not achieving anything, because you beat yourself up for not doing it. Then when you do it, you've beat yourself up so much that you've now lost the confidence to actually do it. So then once that situation plays out, another day rolls by or another week, then you beat yourself up, and then years go by and you're just continually beating yourself up without any progression. So you told me you like to just stare at planes and that makes you feel good. Well, go stare at planes by yourself. You said you could do that by yourself, and go build that connection with yourself. Go find out what else you like to do by yourself. Go find out what really is underneath this abusive, negative chatter you have with yourself, and see what else is there. And the only way you see what else is there is if you shut down that mind. And the only way you shut down that mind is if you get connected with your soul, which is through the silence, but then with your spirit, which is your passions. So if you're going to go watch planes, which you love to do, that means that's your spirit telling you there's something about the freedom, there's something about the abundance of flying on a plane, something about breaking away. There's something to do with planes that you're not getting from yourself, right? There's plenty of meaning in watching planes. Go do that. Go do that until you master that part of you that's you wear down that part of you that's beating you up, and then you create something new, something more positive, something more uplifting. And then you said you want to lose weight. Then you can start to stick to your exercise. Then you said you want to wake up and exercise. Well, then you can't do that while you beat yourself down. You can only do that when you talk yourself up. So the only thing you need to worry about is shut that mind off so you don't beat yourself up anymore, and you'll be fine. Go stare at planes. every Sunday by yourself all day, stay there. Then 20 minutes a day, just sit in silence. Do that for long enough and that voice goes away. And finally, because my brother's a teacher, was a teacher, there was plenty of teachers there, and I got chatting with one of them, and apparently positive psychology seems to be all the rage. That's what they're trying to teach high school students, and I think it's great, because positive psychology, you can really brainwash yourself to be so positive that you can, progress in life. But there's a problem with that, because I'm a big fan of the darkness, because I've been there. I know how good it is. There's more positivity in darkness than there is in just staying grey and convincing yourself that there's white. Do you understand that? If you live in grey and you just keep brainwashing yourself that there's white out there, there's positivity out there, okay, you'll start to see some form of white. But if you go discover the blackness, the darkness, you'll appreciate true whiteness. You'll see it anywhere. You don't have to search for it. It's just in front of you. Because black is black. Black is dark. Black is scary. So whenever something's not scary, then you appreciate it. So then there's more white in your reality. So it's good. Most high school students apparently aren't really achieving and being productive and making useful time of their time at school. Teaching positive psychology, but you also have to teach responsibility. You also have to teach courage, about going in to the depths of their minds and trying to see, what are they missing? Love from their parents? Are they missing attention? Why? There's a reason why they're not passionate about school. It could be just putting you stand forward to be like, look, I'm not feeling good. Why would I want to do something that I don't like? Like, it's not, school's not the issue. There's some deeper psychology manipulation that needs to be done. Not really manipulation, but just awareness that needs to happen if you're really going to fix these kids. You can't just brainwash them into think that, yeah, life's good, just be positive. It doesn't work. It works temporarily, but you're not going to get true, lasting success with that approach. So, right, I'm going to call this a day here, but like I said, I'm going to go into, I promise these people, a longer, detailed, in-depth video for each one of the people I met. So this was just a recap, more so for me to get it onto camera, but yeah, I'm going to go deep on each one of them. So that's about it. Cool trail. Nothing here but just nature, fresh air, and the sun's right behind there. So I'm going to enjoy it. I'll see you guys next time.